name's Mitch Wolinsky, and since 1983 I've been starting up companies, operating them, and selling them. I'm what's known as a serial entrepreneur. But if you see me in your local Whole Foods market, you'd know me as Chef Manolo or Chilimaster Mitch, because my business is Manolo's Best Farmstand chili and soup. I'm one of only 3 brands that are a freshly packed soup, vegan, gluten-free, and soy-free. Vegan means not made with any animal products. Gluten-free means it contains no gluten proteins, for example, wheat, rye bread. And soy-free because soybeans and soy products are one of the top 8 food allergens in America. When Manolo started, I had to create and prove a concept to potential Whole Foods market customers. And I got that opportunity at a small incubator in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, of course, called The Hatchery, where you get to appear 4 to 6 times a month and either give away or sell your food or product. And all of the products conform with the values and mission of Whole Foods. When I was there in 2016, I was fortunate enough to have a store team leader, Dale Sturzel, and he was a great mentor and a role model. And I could lean on Dale for answers, even though I was really a vendor, one of thousands of vendors. But he was so very helpful to me and encouraging to me. The way I learn, and everybody learns in different ways, is you have to give me a clue. I don't want the answer, because part of the process of learning for me is kind of investigation. So he would give me clues and they would lead me to answers that I really needed. And that was a great way to learn. For example, the merchandising and retail customer relations. That would have been a lot harder if I wouldn't have had the support of all the great team members that work in a Whole Foods store. They all supported our small local business. So let's talk about proving your concept. Proving your concept is a fundamental step for any startup. Whether or not you started a technology company, an app, and to prove your concept in that category, they might call it beta testing. And that means that your product actually interacts with real users and you find out if people want it, if it fulfills a need or provides a solution. Mission begets social mission, and I'm going to bring forth the importance of that throughout this process. Establishing or defining your mission often gives rise to finding your social mission. Did you know that 87% of all Americans would consider buying a product made by a company that supports or advocates for something that American believes in or that they care about? Might be an issue, might be a solution, but it's important to have a social mission. Manolo's business mission is to provide an affordable meal with robust flavor and with ingredients a family can trust. That's really important to me, that people trust me, because I'm very transparent and honest. Here's a question. Did you know that gluten-free, casein-free is preferred by many families with autistic children or autistic family members? So let's talk about what casein is. It's a milk protein. So milk is high in casein, and so is yogurt and cheese. They all fall into that category. So many people with food allergies or disabilities shouldn't be eating these foods. So Manolo's social mission is to help injured vets and their caretakers. We get to do this because we partner with yellowribbonfund.org. It's a great organization. It's based in Maryland. We hire and train caretakers as brand ambassadors, which leads me to why our company was so different from the start. Our concept of marketing was to go into the store and provide samples to as many people as we could offer them to, so that we would expose our brand, our flavor, our product to all of those people, because nobody knew who we were, where we came from, or even where we were on the shelf. So the idea was to grow within Whole Foods at first, and we have. We're in 7 states across 60 stores. And that leads me back to our social mission. Our goal for the next 5 years is to train and place 1,500 caretakers or veterans into jobs at Whole Foods Market, because we know they're good jobs and Whole Foods Market treats their people well. We're also partners with veganaction.org, and that's the nation's leading authority to certify a company as vegan. For example, they certified Beyond Meat, which of course is the great meat alternative. It's a huge multi-billion-dollar company now. And we're also proud to be listed as a partner with the ASPCA in their category of Shop with Your Heart products. And we're listed as one of the premier companies in the food stores that don't have any animal ingredients. Whether your goal is to create an application, a consumer product, or a service, you must define the problem you're solving or the need that you are fulfilling. Really, really important. Well, I had a big idea and everybody loved it, and that was the in-store sampling. Every single day we had 2 full-time people giving away hundreds of samples every day, and that caused us to grow 300 to 400% every quarter. Well, when coronavirus hit, that was March 13th of 2020, we could no longer sample. So we had to really be nimble and do what's called, now it's a term called, doing a pivot. So just like in basketball, you change directions when you pivot. We pivoted to digital marketing, so we hired search engine optimization consultants. We have an online shopping page. We're on food aggregators, which means it's just like a small Amazon, in many different regions. We have to acquire the greatest number of customers and super fans. So we built a really strong Instagram program and Facebook program. You have to consider that establishing a new retail product, a consumer product, is one of the most daunting challenges any company with a lot of money can undertake, let alone a small startup that started off with the money they had in the bank and on credit cards. But we did a lot of consumer research. We went into every store many times a week throughout the area, and our research revealed that there was a real void in that there wasn't a broad selection of tasty, vegan, gluten-free, soy-free products. And that's how we decided to make it ourselves. So as the population ages, and everybody's heard of the term baby boomers, millennials, Gen X, Gen Z, all of these are demographic groups. Now, we felt that we should study them all and find out what's important. because the baby boomers are going to eventually age out, retire, or move to vacation spots, or they're not going to be interested in our product. And we want to build a base of millennials, Gen X, Gen Z. Millennials are and will become the dominant demographic, and food choices will follow their preferences. Their preference is to support companies that are transparent with their story and their ingredients and that have a social mission, just what Manolo's is about. Our value proposition that is also our competitive advantage is providing a well-prepared, ready-to-heat and eat meal that's within the vegan, vegetarian market segment. Also, moms who care about their little kids growing up vegetarian and vegan, and people who care about healthy living. A lot of people have stopped eating meat every day, eat meat a few times, fish a few times, and a plant-based diet. You're going to hear more and more about a plant-based diet and how that really can repair your health, improve your health, and give you a better quality of life. Robust flavor, homemade taste, and naturally preserving our food, along with having reduced sugar and sodium, were our primary objectives with creating these products. Also, meeting the market price of whole food soups. That was important too, because you have to be priced competitively. When we sample in a store, and you'll see pictures throughout this presentation, when we sample in a store, we have a really attractive, clean presentation. Also, the aromatic quality of our food, it just creates people smelling us and coming over because they want to see what smells so good. Our original cinnamon chili smells like cinnamon, so it has a delicious aroma to it. And our roasted sweet potato, well, I think most people like roasted sweet potato, and that's naturally sweet, and it draws a lot of people, and little kids love it. So those are our two primary recipes, and that's what we want people to smell when they come in the store and think about and try it. Well, how did we get to this point? I mean, things just don't happen. I just don't go and cook it in my kitchen and bring it. There's a big process, and that requires capital, financing. Manolo's best started out with my wife Yvette and I financing it ourselves. A lot of small businesses even start with credit card financing. Well, we were fortunate that since I had a lot of experience starting up companies, I took a portion of money and then I created budgets and I did spreadsheets and we followed the process. The process also led us to a second stage of raising capital, and that was with a financial instrument called a SAFE. It's a simple agreement for future equity, SAFE. And it's not that complicated. It just means that people put in increments of money. In our case, we asked for $25,000 increments, and they trust us based upon our metrics of success that we could show them. They trust us to use the money to grow the company. The benefit to them is when the second round of investment comes and we get $1 million or $2 million, we have higher sales, and every increment of the company becomes of a higher value, and they might double, triple, or quadruple their investment. The SAFE is also a very valuable way. You've probably heard that Facebook gave out equity, Microsoft gave out equity to people in the beginning, and it turned secretaries and mailroom workers into millionaires when it became a huge, enormous company. So we use it to compensate people that we otherwise could not afford to pay a salary to. Even when you must give away equity, you got to remember it's better to own some of something than some of nothing. Big rule, and you can't fall victim to becoming too greedy, because your vision is to grow a company. So in job interviews, you're going to be asked, what's your strength? What's your weakness? Well, I'll tell you, my strength is being highly motivated. Motivation. I've always been motivated by the simple belief that if it is to be, it's up to me. I don't like to depend on people. I like to be able to control my own destiny and be empowered to tackle challenges in ways that I choose to approach them, not ways that it's been done for 20 years or investors or other people think it should be, or professors or authors think it should be, or somebody who wrote, what's that book? Dummies for Dummies, right? No, that's not the way I like to do it. So I have the niche approach, right? And that works for me, and you'll have your approach, and hopefully that'll work for you. Doesn't mean you shouldn't take into account criticism from people you respect and who have knowledge and experience, or follow where the market's going. I've had some incredible mentors, and I'm going to introduce you to one today in a video following this. So I want to mention that I had family members, 2 older brothers, who were great businessmen, philanthropists, and family men, and they set a great example for me. I also have a friend from high school that I have known too many years to count, because then you'll know how old I am. And he and I talk every morning. He's a doctor, I'm a businessman. Medical practices are businesses, and there's a lot of medicinal qualities to food, but I wouldn't compare the importance of what I do to medicine. What I'd like to say is there's an importance in having a friend you talk to every morning or every evening, and you chill together and you talk about what happened, and hey, do you have any ideas, or what's your opinion of this? How would you look at that? It's great to have a sounding board other than your boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, or parents. Another mentor of mine who's very important to me is my personal business coach, Michael Dermer, author of a book called The Lonely Entrepreneur, which I've read 4 times. He also has a fabulous website called thelonelyentrepreneur.com. There's over 200 videos. They're all learning modules. There's a community that you can interact with, and it's free for you to sign up and experience. On it, you can see videos of Michael, and he's one of the greatest teachers I've ever met. He taught me a couple important things, that you have to create a process of running your business. Part of our process is to have a meeting every Monday night, and everybody speaks to their responsibilities and shares how it's going, giving a status update. The other is to create a plan and stick to it, and not be a blade in the grass, blowing this way one day, blowing another way another day, okay? Our marketing plan, once the coronavirus changed all small business operations, and big business operations for that matter, all of our lives, right? So we created a plan, and it was to do the outreach to vegan, vegetarian groups, digital marketing, and have different products, create our own online store, and cross-market with other customers, with other platforms. One thing Michael Dermer created was something called the 4 Ps: pressure, passion, pleasure, and pain. This is part of and essential to the entrepreneurial experience, lifestyle. So there's a lot of pressure with responsibility, and along with that comes a lot of stress. All of that really can create pressure. there's passion, and that's your obsessive belief and commitment to your product or service, and you're really passionate about that. It means everything to you. It's your baby, this company. The pleasure of seeing your vision come to fruition. I mean, there's no greater satisfaction other than family that I can think of. I mean, seeing a business have customers, people enjoy it, they find it useful, that it has merit. That's a really great pleasure to any entrepreneur. And also there has to be pain. That's part of the DNA of entrepreneurship. And pain could be disappointment, frustration. It doesn't have to be long-term. It can be one day you have disappointment, the next day you have great success. There are peaks and valleys to being an entrepreneur. Keep in mind, as an entrepreneur, you're always going to feel overwhelmed by the sense of responsibility to family, investors, and employees. While you're so immersed in your passion and vision, be prepared to constantly question your point of view. And I think that's ever changing, your point of view. And it's really something I consider to be important. I learned that from Michael. The exhilaration of accomplishment is an unmatched natural endorphin high. And it's a huge boost to your self-esteem that can last you for the rest of your life. Build your confidence. The daily pain that's the part of the DNA of an entrepreneur's life is balanced by these successes, these peaks of motivation that you will get from working with your vision. Today I'm going to introduce you to someone who's very important to me. His name is Matt Eventoff. He owns a company called Princeton Public Speaking. He's been a mentor to me for 14 years. He's chief advisor to Manolo's Best, head of the marketing committee. He's a brother to my wife and I. Matt earned his rewards that he has recognized today by working his way up, first at Capitol Hill, and then by being a crisis and messaging coach to many of the Fortune 100 CEOs. He's traveled to over 80 countries, working with people across all languages and cultures. And he's coached leaders through crisis and transformational change. He's author of a book called Orator, founder of the Oratory Project, which is a program that empowers young adults and helps them find their voice. I've invited Matt Eventoff to speak to us in a brief question and answer session that I was able to share with him, and I think you'll enjoy it. I've asked Matt Eventoff of Princeton Public Speaking to capture the critical points of light entrepreneurs experience. So we're going to have a chat with Matt. Matt, let's talk about some of the big questions aspiring entrepreneurs and future thought leaders are going to be challenged by. So let's begin with, what should they expect a typical day to be like if they choose the path of the entrepreneur?
Thank you again, Mitch, for having me, and thank you everybody who's watching. This is wonderful, and I wish you a lot of luck in your entrepreneurial journey. I think the most important concept you can grasp if you want to be an entrepreneur in terms of what your average day will look like is your average day will look different every day, no matter how much you plan it, how much you structure it, and how many things you want to accomplish. An entrepreneur always has more to accomplish than time allows for. So I think the best thing an entrepreneur or a prospective entrepreneur can really do in preparing is prepare for the unexpected.
How do you prepare for the pressure you're under when you have to do 1,000 things? How do you confront that challenge?
I think it's a passion, and it's a passion for service, and it's a passion for serving those people, whether they're customers, clients, friends, whoever it might be, people in the community, people in general. I think, and I'll use you as a perfect example, Chef Manolo. I think your passion for your customers and the drive that I see in you to serve those customers and produce healthy, nutritious food for them drives you to wake up before most of us wake up and stay awake long after most of us go to sleep. And I think that's really what it is, that drive, that passion for service.
So let's talk about clientele. So how did you get clients and then get more clients? How do people create a living out of being an entrepreneur?
My journey is unique, as most entrepreneurs are, Mitch. I started out in politics right after graduating from university and quickly learned that my passion was what my passion was when I was younger, and that is oratory. I grew up as a huge student of Winston Churchill. Listening to Churchill's words still give me shivers and goosebumps when I hear them to this day, just like they did when I was 8. And I think it's just an amazing thing to really find what you love early on in life. So I started in politics. Going from politics, I had an opportunity to work with a young executive who had to communicate difficult information in a difficult situation, and he was having trouble figuring out how to do it, and he asked me how to do it and if we could work together. He gave me an opportunity. I love the work, and it's kind of grown from there. My business is unique in that I don't really do any advertising, and I've never had to do a lot of marketing because I've had a very small firm, and all of our businesses come word of mouth.
Does your business involve a lot of technology, or how do you serve your customers? I mean, now with COVID, you're of course doing Zoom.
I think it's a great question, Mitch. So as you know, I've worked in 70 or 80 plus countries. I'm used to traveling a week, a month on average for the past decade, and COVID has changed that. Most of our meetings occur during Zoom, with Zoom at this moment in time. And what Zoom has really led me to is a real appreciation for all of the senses through which we communicate, right? Because we don't necessarily just communicate through speaking, through hearing, even through sight, as I'm looking at you right now. We also communicate through taste, through smell, through feel, all of which Zoom doesn't really allow for as it does when we meet face to face. So I find that it's heightened my senses even more and allowed my training to become even more acute.
So I have a message I want to leave you with. I've really enjoyed speaking with you today. All paths could lead to success. You will have to form your own definition of success. Everybody has personalized it and made it subjective. You have to have a safe place you call home. Home is really where your heart is. There will be no judgments or conditions on you when you go home. Success is understanding the difference between need and want, and knowing you can't keep what you don't give away. And that relates to product, service, value, experience, influence, helping people, charity. And ultimately, success is not counted by how you climb, but by how many people you are able to bring with you on that climb. I wish you much success. Stay in touch with me, write to me, call me. I'm here to help. Have a great career and be great entrepreneurs. Thank you.
It's gluten-free and vegan chili. It has the people wanting more. They started in the Whole Foods Cherry Hill store, and now in Marlton and Princeton locations. It's Manolo's best. Farmstand chili, Manolo's best. Farmstand chili, Manolo's best. Farmstand chili, Manolo's best. Farmstand chili.